welcome to AutoSave. My name is Camille Hadaway, and I'm here with Mr. Nick Andrade, my co-host. Hello, Nick.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I like you're like, hey, how are you? I'm going good. I mean, we are continuing our journey into Jedi Fallen Order. And guess what? Today, we are one with the Force, and the Force is with us. I just love it. I feel like we should just do that every single time. Say that to remind everyone.
One with the Force, and the Force is with us. One with the Force,
Yes.
and the Force is with us. Yes.
Yes, just do it over and over
I already
again.
feel better. I feel more at peace.
See? It's daily affirmations. Last time on AutoSave.
Cordova believed the key to the vault is on Dathomir.
You find your Wookiee?
Yep. Things are bad down there. Empires everywhere.
Inquisitors?
Trilla, the second sister, is gone for now, but she's still chasing us. I defeated the ninth sister.
We got captured by a bounty hunter, was forced into a Colosseum-style battle, rescued just in the nick of time by Seer, went back to Kashyyyk to meet Tarful, and learned that the Empire took out many of the resistant fighters and scared away Saw as well in the process. And we got an underwater level and really had a clean, nice, rewarding fight with the ninth sister. Oh yeah, and Seer and Cal kind of came to an understanding, but we could see Cal's kind of holding a little bit of resentment, or at least has his guard up when it comes to Seer. Now we are heading to Dathomir, which is a part of Cordova's never-ending plan that we sometimes don't understand. And this is chapter 4. In this episode, like I said, we're going into Dathomir. And for Nick, this is a long-awaited planet because of Darth Maul. Nick obviously being a fan of Darth Maul. So the question of the day, what makes Darth Maul so menacing and one of the greatest Sith warriors in Star Wars history?
Ooh, I think one, it's his features, right? The way he looks is menacing.
Yeah.
I mean, he has literal horns coming out of his, skull. And then obviously like how the way his face looks, the red and the black, like it looks so menacing. It looks Sith, and his teeth and everything. The more we get to know, like I like outside of the Phantom Menace, because we don't know too much about him in that movie. He kind of doesn't even say anything. Maybe he has a couple lines. And then we get to know him more in like Clone Wars, in Rebels, and a bunch of other Star Wars canonical, I don't know how to say it, pieces. And he's a really cool character, and I really like him. It's not that he's menacing, but he's like clever. He seems like...
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just seems cunning. That's the word I wanted to use.
Very much so. But I feel like when we all saw him, his first appearance, it was like, how he looks, it was like, yeah, who is this guy? And then his fight style, it was just so cool. Like he put on a really good fight that really stole the show for the movie.
Yes, it really did. It was like the best part of like that movie is almost like forgettable otherwise.
It's forgettable.
We also get a cameo of him in Solo at the end. And then obviously that never comes to fruition because I think they scrapped that idea in general. But maybe it's in the Disney vault somewhere of what would have happened if Solo continued / if Darth Maul, maybe we see Darth Maul again. I'm not entirely sure. I'm hoping we see a cameo in something.
Would you want to see like a Darth Maul show?
1000%. But you know what? Yes.
Really?
Yes. Live action or animated?
Oh, live action.
I think, yeah, that could work. I just don't want to see an old Maul. I want to see like right after he gets his legs chopped off.
Same.
And what happens after that. That would be the most exciting for me.
Yeah, I feel like also Darth Maul was one of those warriors for the Empire that they really should have tried to save, like put some mechanical legs on him.
Yes.
Like he's just so good. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see if Dathomir will bring remnants of Darth Maul to us. But we'll see after the break.
You've come a long way since Braca, but the path is far from over. I want you to know the difficult challenges ahead.
I can handle it.
I know what you can do. I'm not denying that.
And I know what has to be done. I've done it before.
Cal, even the strongest of Jedi.
I'm not Trilla. I'll be fine.
I know you're not. I didn't say that.
I'm not asking you to say anything. It's okay, Seer. Really.
Just be safe, Cal. That's all.
I love it's just all like Seer trying to show that she has concern for us, which is nice. But then Cal's just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. Like still
Yeah.
brushing her off and like just be like, I know what I'm doing. It's kind of like, you know, when you're mad at your parent
Yes.
and then they know you're mad at them. And then instead of like talking about it, they're just trying to like help you with like some task. Like maybe it's a chore. And then you're like, I know how to do it. I've done this 1,000 times. Like, you don't need to help me. Just go back inside. You know, I could take out the garbage myself kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to talk to my parent. I don't appreciate it right now. You don't understand my life. But also, like, the cold shoulder, it's like she knows that she's messed up. And she needs to, like, I think she's trying extra hard, too. To, like, but they're kind of just like, we have so much to do. Like, let's not talk about it. It's like, guys, you probably have to sit down and talk about it.
I know. And I swear, if I have to hear about, whatever, we don't need to talk about it. Or like, okay, Sierra, that's great. Like this brattiness from Cal, which is fully understanding, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
100%.
But Seer has reason to show concern because there's like huge monsters right when you get out and they try to attack you, but you can actually just ignore them and continue through. Just try not to make eye contact so they don't go after you. But you want to continue to higher ground. And my feeling of Dathomir right now is that it's a pretty sandy place and it's very red. And you kind of get like this red hue and dust blowing. What do you think of the planet itself?
Exactly what I expected it to be. It's kind of, it feels desolate and it feels like I wouldn't want to live there. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Yeah, and then there's like, you got like all the weapons or something. Like there's always like, it's just like pointy stuff pointing out of everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm like. I've never been to Australia, but you know how like they say in Australia, everything's trying to kill you? It really does feel like that on Dathomir.
And like feels like there's like giant bugs and all that stuff. Yes. Feels like if you sit down, you'll just get like pricked with like some pointy thing that hurts your butt or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand now why Dathomirians need like horns coming out of their skulls to protect them. But as you continue through, well, someone surprises you.
Strange. This place seems abandoned, but...
You trespass, Jedi.
You must be a Night Sister. I had heard you were all dead.
Not all. Dathomir is forbidden to you. Leave at once.
Well, I'm afraid I can't do that, but perhaps we could help each other. You see, Easy. I'm not your enemy.
Your actions say otherwise.
Wait, hold on. I'm not here to...
So we meet the Night Sister, who has a really cool accent, and also tells us that we're not welcomed because we're a Jedi. So obviously there's some beef here between the Night Sister and the Jedi. Have you heard? I know like you're a fan of Dathomir. You know a little bit more about the lore around Darth Maul. Have you heard about the Night Sister before?
I have heard about the Night Sisters. I only vaguely remember explanations in Star Wars Rebels. I know that there's more of the story, I think, in Clone Wars, but I have never watched Clone Wars before.
Oh, okay.
I know that there is a story behind them, but I only vaguely recall it.
Yeah. I feel like also because of how the Dathomirians look, villains you talked about previously with Trilla not looking like a Sith, like not having the scarring, but because Dathomirians, especially with Darth Maul, the most notable of them, has like those horns, very menacing. I feel like in my mind, I just think all Dathomirians are evil. So automatically when I see the Night Sister, I'm just like, oh, she's bad. Am I wrong in thinking this? I'm probably wrong.
Well, I think anything that comes at you in Dathomir, you would automatically think, yes, that they're trying to either kill you or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I agree. It's a scary place. You never know what to expect. And again, like, yes, all Dathomir is, it's super intense. Every one of them seems almost like they're evil. Like it's all, so they're just like born evil. This is a planet of evil people.
Yeah. And one thing to note too, like, I guess I just assumed because I'm not heavy into the lore here, I just assumed Dathomir was a part of the Empire. But like there are no stormtroopers at all.
Yeah, I don't even think they want to be there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's interesting that like through this brief time on Dathomir, I'm already getting the sense that it's like actually a very secluded place where they don't really open up outsiders about their culture, which is interesting. Well, the Night Sister vanishes and she doesn't want to hear anything Cal is saying. As you heard, Cal was very much saying like, we're not enemies. I'm just here. Even though I can't leave, even though this is your home, we're not enemies. And Night Sister sends Night Brothers after us, which are like zombie creatures. And they're not tough to fend off, but they are scary and they come out of nowhere. What were your thoughts with them?
Yeah, I just, they're like fast too. So I don't know. They're
very fast.
They're scary. I don't like them. But a lot of the enemies here are difficult, I would say. And in terms of all of the, and I think all enemies in each world have their own kind of skill level, but these ones specifically are the hardest of the bunch, in my opinion. You
know how I hate jump scares, and they jump out of everywhere. Like they'll be behind corridors, behind rocks, like. So my anxiety level going through Dathomir was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind. Where will another Night Brother show up? The answer, everywhere. They will show up everywhere, and they are very fast.
And it's almost like they have their own lightsabers.
Yes.
They're almost like the green, like, I don't know what they are. They just look like smoke's coming out of it.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of, with the Night Sister, there's a bit of like sorcery. Yeah. I don't know if that's accurate in saying, but like sorcery to her. And that kind of translates to the Night Brothers. So we continue to make our way to higher ground, and we're going to stumble across more Night Brothers because, like I said, they're everywhere. So be on guard. You will also find a workbench and life essence near, but you're going to continue through and we're going to meet someone.
A fellow wanderer. I see you met the resident Night Sister, but unlike most, you're alive. Well, lightsaber? No, don't hide it. That would explain your survival.
Who are you?
No one to fear. Just a traveler, studying the nature of extinct cultures and dead philosophies.
You study the Night Sisters?
I study many things. But yes, that Night Sister, she was only a child when the war came to this world. She had to watch her whole family perish.
So we meet the Wanderer, and I have a few questions. Nick,
yes.
Let me know if you had these questions too. Firstly, who's wandering on Dathomir? Does not seem welcoming at all, as we already established. So don't know about that. Why is he wearing a black hooded cloak? Is it just me, or does Dathomir kind of look like a hot climate? Because the Night Brothers are pretty much wearing nothing. And why does he know about the Night Sister meeting me? Why was he watching me so hard? I don't like the interest that this Wanderer has with me being a Jedi. But Nick, am I too suspicious of the Wanderer? Is this like just too many questions that I have that I shouldn't?
You have a lot of questions, but I think they're all valid because right off the bat, you already know that this guy can't be trusted. He's British with some evil British accent where he's like, it's like this deep, like, oh, hello, something like that. So we know we can't trust him. 2, he's in a cloak. 3, he's just chilling by himself in a cloak on Dathomir.
It's kind of like he was waiting for us.
Yes, right? So all these questions justified. I won't answer everyone. I will just say can't be trusted. Definitely a villain. 1000%. No matter how he's perceived
Yes.
at this moment, he will try to kill us. Guaranteed.
Do not trust him. But we do also learn a little bit about the Night Sister and her background, because obviously for some reason he knows that we met her, and he says that like she actually had it really hard when she was on when she first was on Dathomir, because she watched her whole family pretty much be killed in front of her. And I guess that would explain her, like maybe it was a Jedi. I guess it would kind of explain her hesitation to other people that are new to Dathomir. I mean, she had a pretty traumatic childhood.
Or is it like, is the Wanderer manipulating her?
Or is Wanderer manipulating us?
Because I don't, did a Jedi kill her family?
I don't think it was a Jedi, but I don't think, like, not necessarily actually physically killing her family, but maybe play a part. Like, I'm thinking that maybe her trauma in the past has to do with her hatred for Jedi.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll know more, though. I do want to know more about the sisters.
Yeah, because I didn't get the sense when I first saw her that she wants to kill us. Although she sent Night Brothers after us. Like, I didn't get the sense like she is like similar to, you know, Trilla, just out to get us. Like, I just got the sense like she's just having her guard up and doing what she needs to do to protect her people.
Right, that's what it seemed like to me. Is just she's just trying to protect her homeland and her people.
Yeah.
It didn't get a sense like she's just trying to like be, you know, take over the world or something like that, or gain power. It seems like she's just trying to hold on to whatever she has.
Exactly. Now, after this cutscene, you see a ledge in front of you. You could use your force jump, double Jedi jump that across the ledge, and completely ignore all the red flags that we established with the Wanderer, and act like nothing's wrong with your mission. Just keep going on. You'll face some more Night Brothers, and then there'll be a wall there, and Cal will say something along the lines like he needs more equipment. And just as Cal is having that thought, a Night Brother throws a huge boulder towards him, breaking that area, and then it'll send Cal falling into a muddy slide, and you'll have to continue through that area, that swampy area, and you'll find a meditation point. After a quick meditation,
You will go no further.
Stand aside.
No. He was right about you.
Who? What?
Jedi are thieves and selfish liars who bring nothing but death.
Back off. If you attack me again, I'll strike you down.
Oh, I won't do a thing. But my murdered sisters. They will have their revenge.
so it's obvious that the Night Sister is getting some misinformation about Jedi, because she's just reciting what someone else told her, it seemed like.
Yes, I was very distracted by Cal saying "back off." The way he's back off.
You gotta love Cal.
Back off, okay? All right, I'm not dealing with your stuff. I'll pull out my lightsaber. I don't know. It's just he sounded so whiny there.
He
just
did.
made me laugh. Anyway, what was your question?
Nick distracted by the dialogue. No,
Yes.
but the Night Sister, obviously, it seems like she's reciting what she's heard about Jedi. So
Oh,
then
yes.
that
Yeah.
proves me wrong. It doesn't seem like there was an experience in her past that was connected to a Jedi. It seems more like someone is guiding her on this hateful path towards Jedi.
Yeah, whatever it is, it sounds like someone's manipulating her. I think we're on the path of maybe we can gain her trust eventually. Maybe if the Wanderer has something to do with it, I'm not entirely sure.
Like, you think maybe she will be good.
I know, because again, like what we get from her so far is that she's just trying to protect her people and her home planet, and she doesn't want any more of her sisters. Well, I think all of her sisters are dead. She's the last one,
Yeah.
but she wants to make sure that doesn't happen. So to me, there could be some redeeming quality, especially Cal kind of like telling her exactly who he is, because right now she doesn't know and she doesn't trust, and then hopefully Cal can do something to, you know, make that happen.
You're right. It's like there may be like a redemption or an understanding I'm getting the sense of in the future between her and Cal, which will make it that she may become an ally for us. But she does continue with some enemy cliches one-on-one. She sends other enemies to do her dirty work and then disappears for the second time. This time, she is sending under Night Sisters. Again, are these her sisters that she's bringing back from the dead? I don't think I quite understand the Night Sister and Night Brother concept.
They're probably just reanimated corpses at this point, right? Whatever it is. I don't know exactly how.
Reanimated corpses of her people.
That sounds pretty like you want to do that? You want to like raise the dead for all your sisters?
Yeah. Don't you want them to RIP? Like just relax in their graves? Like, I don't know.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
How did you find the Night Sisters though? Because they're really quick.
The Night Brothers run at you pretty quickly, unless they're the arrow types or whatever. Mm-hmm. But these ones, they just flail at you. It really does seem like a Dawn of the Dead type zombie, like super fast, will come at you. And it's even more jump scarier than anything else we see on this planet.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you've ever played Left 4 Dead. There's these characters or these enemies called the witches, and they scream and like attract other zombies towards them, but then they're also really fast.
Yeah.
These are them, but in Night Sister form. One thing that's like annoying as well, because you have like multiple coming towards you. When you kill them, like acid explodes or whatever that like smoke is. So you have to watch out for that damage as well.
And there's other creatures there that also like poison you if you kill them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of residue in this game where things blow up after you've destroyed them. Like there's the fire beetles, there's the poison plants, there's like poison beetles in this one, and then also on Dathomir, the sisters are poisonous once they perish. Like so you could never just kill something. There always has to be some like residual damage, which makes it more annoying that every time you heal, they reincarnate. They just can't leave us alone.
Yeah. Well, they are seeking, the Night Sister reveals that they will get their revenge. So maybe they're seeking that revenge, which makes me seem like the person that may be manipulating her is also setting up a Jedi to like be the problem for her family's death or her sister's deaths. So I'm really interested on just her backstory. Well, we'll continue through the path, and it's pretty linear from here. You fight more Night Sisters. You'll reach a wall painting that BD1 can scan. Cal will also listen to an echo that shows the wanderer or a wanderer was hunted in this area. So I don't know. I guess if they're being hunted, they're not suspicious. I really just want to know A or B, trust or not, I guess it's not that easy every time. Like every echo I'm hearing, I'm like, maybe I do trust the wanderer. Maybe I don't trust the wanderer.
Yeah. As we get further into the mission, I'm sure we'll find out exactly who to trust. Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. And we'll also fight more Night Brothers along the way. And then you'll face a lesser Nidak, which will lead you to the Night Brothers village. This is super annoying because they're going to shoot a ton of arrows. Like a lot.
And then they have that like the charged up arrow.
Yeah.
After a while that you can't dodge, or you can dodge, but you also can't deflect.
Yes.
So you have to like wait. Yeah, especially if there's Night Brothers that are attacking you on the ground, and then those little dang pings come at you every time. It's just
Yeah, it's super annoying. And my thing is like, I always have this thing with arrows. It's like, it's not the most ideal weapon of choice because you will eventually run out of arrows. And then are you going to pick up the arrows that are on the ground?
Well, what are they? They're laser arrows.
Yeah, they're laser arrows. So I guess it's a little bit better. I guess so.
How does it work? Because do they draw? Do they turn into laser then?
I don't know. It's space. Things happen differently there.
Good answer.
Don't even try fighting. Like I didn't even try fighting them off or deflecting any of these arrows. Just run, and then you'll be able to slide down onto a muddy path, which is the swamp. You'll find yourself in the Swamp of Sacrifice, which killer name.
Nice. Yeah, that is Swamp of Sacrifice.
Who sacrificed what in the swamp? That's what I want to know. It's pretty disgusting down here. There's lots of enemies. And I feel like so far in Dathomir, between the Night Brothers and Night Sisters, it has been waves of enemies. And you'll also be able to find some items. You'll find the poncho material called Savannah. What poncho are you wearing right now?
This is a very good question. I have been, tinkering with a lot of things at this point. Every poncho that I unlock, I'll use it for a while. I'll try to maybe match it with the scenery of the planet. However, I have finally found my perfect combo, which I've used before.
Oh, really?
But I decided, I think, at this mission point that I am just going to use it for the rest of the game, which is the blue suit and then the dark blue poncho that almost looks like deep water, like deep, deep dark blue.
Oh.
That is my favorite combination. So I've decided to use that.
Oh, that's cool.
Moving forward.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I do switch up BD1 once in a while.
Oh, okay. You do switch up BD1.
Yeah. Whatever he's feeling. Yeah,
whatever BD1's feeling, whatever he beep beep boop,
Boop, boop.
tells you. Boop boops tell you. Beep beep. For me, I am still in that rigger crew poncho.
No.
Loving the basics.
No.
Yep.
Why? Why do you do this every time? Why?
Tell you, I can't. He's a rigger. This is like what he's supposed to do.
Like, as we move forward in this podcast and we play different games, if there is games that we need to change our outfit, like, you have to, like, especially like Breath of the Wild and stuff. Like, did you not change Link's outfit when you played Breath of the Wild?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I didn't.
No.
I had all the outfits, but I only changed it when you got like the classic green tunic.
Okay.
And then I left that on.
No.
And then I was like, this is weird during cutscenes. So then I switched it back.
Breath of the Wild has like the most amazing like outfits.
It really does.
And then it's pretty basic here in Jedi Fallen Order. It's just different color schemes. And the ponchos, some of them are raggedy, some of them are fuller. That's why I picked the blue poncho, because it looks like brand new and it's like elegant rather than some of the raggedy ones that look like they've just been scraped off a mountain cliff.
I kind of like the raggedy ones, but I'm sticking with the rigger crew. This is like, if you're trying to find Force-sensitive kids and there's a mission ahead of you, would you have time to change? No, I'm still wearing that outfit. And that's how I'm playing it. I'm sorry. Let me know if I'm wrong. But at this point, you've seen a few wanderer bodies kind of just lying there that you could do an echo with. And you could scan them. And it reveals, actually, when you piece together the stories, that a ship crashed. And as the wanderer was kind of fleeing something. So there's this anticipation to this bigger threat. And like, I don't know what that threat's going to be, but I'm kind of liking that we've already seen just things in Dathomir try to kill us. So I'm thinking it's going to be indigenous to the planet.
Okay. I'm thinking that we're just going to fight the Wanderer off the bat.
Oh, okay.
So
you think the Wanderer took out all these other Wanderers?
There's more Wanderers?
You know when like you're doing the echo?
Yeah.
There's like, you're finding the bodies of like...
Oh, I didn't understand. I didn't think that there were other Wanderers. I thought that those were just Dathomirian people.
Oh, maybe they are Dathomirian people.
No, don't agree with me. I'm guessing.
Okay.
Stick to your guns. There were other Wanderers, and he killed them all.
All right. Yeah. You'll actually continue through. You'll see some vines that you could climb up to a cliff at the top. And there's a large bat creature, which means boss battle.
Yeah.
Psych. No, there's no boss battle. You just see this large bat creature. And instead of fighting it off, more Night Brothers kind of appear. And you have to kind of run into a cave because the anxiety is getting to me. I need to meditate. There's a meditation point. You'll find a dead Dathomirian, which I thought this was pretty cool because you find a dead Dathomirian. And I was like, wait, is this going to be like a nod to Darth Maul? It wasn't. But what was odd is Cal was like trying to pull its hand, but the bat creature from before actually shows up, and we know it's called Gorgora, and it's now Bass Bottle time. Nick, you love your Bass Bottles. How did you find this?
like we've seen a lot of giant winged creatures in the last few episodes, but this one doesn't like us, unfortunately. Relatively easier. Like, again, every time we face off against the second sister, the ninth sister, a Jedi, you definitely feel how hard it is. This one, despite its size, I think it's still a relatively easy boss battle because you can slow him down really fast and quite easily. You can get a few attacks off relatively in quick succession before it starts attacking you again. So to me, I think I beat this in 1 or 2 tries, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Because there's not too many mechanics with everything.
There isn't too many mechanics, but what is scary is the charge. You know, I hate those. And also when Gorgora lands, because it sends like the shock wave of like rocks and everything. So I actually got knocked out a few times by that.
Oh yeah, that is difficult too. Like it's still difficult. Like all of these boss battles in this game are difficult. They're definitely not easy in any way. I just think specifically compared to some other ones, this one wasn't too difficult.
Yeah. One trend I'm noticing with these boss battles as well is that we're not finishing off the enemies.
Right.
We're just kind of like, all right, we fended you off like for a little bit and like they'll fly away and then that's kind of it. But yeah, so after you defeat Gorgora, you'll actually head back to that dead Dathomirian. And then we find out what Cal was trying to do, which is rob him of his climbing claws. So, I mean, maybe the Night Sister is right about Jedis just stealing things and being thieves and liars.
Here I thought Cal was trying to help this dead Dathomirian, but he was just trying to steal his claws. All right.
He was just stealing his claws. But this actually, the claws reminded me of Skyward Sword.
Yes,
you know
very
what you
much
get
so.
from the moles? They looked like exactly like
That's
that. In my
exactly
head,
what
I
I
was
thought.
like, I was playing like the item music in my head.
I think
just
they
because
stole
I was
the
like, this
idea.
is- Yeah.
100%.
They did 100%. But obviously, this is kind of the item that Cal was kind of saying that he needs. He needed an item to climb up different types of walls. And now you could do that. You climb up really fast and it actually kind of just opens up a path for you. So there's one wall right in front of you. You start to climb that and then you could continue through tight wooden beams and it'll start to rain, which is beautiful. I'm happy we're seeing rain in Dathomir. And then while you're climbing up a cliff, guess what? Gorgora appears and now you have to like climb your way while avoiding Gorgora. How did you find like this final part of the boss battle where it's kind of like an evade and chase scene?
I'm liking these evade and chase scenes. We saw it from
same.
Kashyyyk before. Again, we feel like we can see a lot of how to be an actual Jedi. Like I felt a Jedi in these scenarios. And these are fun. I'll do more of these all day than some of the boss battles because some of the boss battles actually piss me off. And these things are like, especially I'm playing this game a lot at night on my big screen with my little backlights, and to like do all of that with everything, like you feel a part of it. It's really cool.
I don't know. This whole thing, like, because it turns into this part where Gorgora is now like flying and then you have to jump off of the cliff and like try to land on Gorgora, because Gorgora actually, well, not to jump off the cliff, Gorgora grabs you and then like kind of throws you and then you kind of try to align yourself to fall on top of Gorgora and then ride Gorgora into a boulder. And it was, again, like the bird, giving me Falcor vibes from Neverending Story.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I never watched Neverending Story though. I know who Falcor is,
Nick.
but I'm sorry, I never watched Neverending Story. My bad.
Oh, Nick. All right. Well, anyone else listening gets that reference. I know you're with me. But once you do that a couple times and you run Gorgora into the boulder, you'll defeat it, like really defeat it. And with a little wall running and climbing, you'll end up in the Night Brothers village. And at the village gate, the Night Brothers aren't going to make it easy for you. So they're going to close the gate and you're going to actually have to force pull hanging cages. There's a bit of a puzzle here, but it's pretty simple. You're going to climb up some ropes and then you'll see the mantis.
Cal, have you found the tomb?
Close, but got a little sidetracked.
Grease is acting strange. He swears he saw someone outside the mantis. Dathomir's getting to him.
pretty sure that's who he is.
Are you all right?
I'm not seeing things, so yes? I'm coming out of a Night Brother village now, hoping to get back on track.
Sounds like you're handling yourself.
Yeah, BD and I got this.
Grease is getting paranoid by Dathomir. If you were sitting in the Mantis and like waiting for Cal to finish up his mission, would you be scared?
100%, especially if I was just a pilot, what we're dealing with, and Dathomir, I'd get the hell out of there.
Exactly. I'm with you, Grease, and I hope that we'll be able to get out of here pretty quickly. But we're going to continue along the way back to where we started, and this is where we saw the Wanderer, but coincidentally, the Wanderer's not there, which makes me even more sus on this Wanderer, but whatever, I'm going to ignore it. You're going to jump over the pit again with your force jump, and then you'll see that wall where Cal originally said he needed that equipment, but now you have that equipment, so you can climb the wall, and you'll find the door to the tomb, but you can't open it yet, and instead you'll meditate to trigger a flashback.
Braca is secure. We move out from Magito shortly.
Yes!
You must...
Master, are you okay?
Something is...
No! What's happening? Why did the commander just...
Padawan, something terrible is happening. The clones have betrayed us. There are no answers to your questions. Not yet. We need to get off this ship. Quickly. Get to the escape pods. Use the maintenance halls. We trained for this. Do you remember?
Yes, Master. Well, what about you?
I will create a distraction and meet you. If I am not there when you arrive, depart without me. I will find you on Braca. Do you understand?
Yes, Master.
They're coming.
So okay, wow. So we've heard now, and we actually get to play through Cal's perspective of Order 66. I wasn't expecting this at all. So I liked how they tied this in here. We see that T'Pol, obviously Cal's master, sacrifices himself to save him, and that the lightsaber that Cal wields is T'Pol's. We then see this power that we've never seen from Cal before, where he glitches the clones. I don't know what it was, but they kind of like freeze. There is actually, I feel like we've seen this with one of the Sith. Someone else has a similar power to this.
I didn't even notice this part.
What? When he screams, when he yells out after T'Pol gets shot.
Oh, I thought it was just like Force slow. My bad.
Is it Force slow?
No, maybe not.
Maybe but it was kind of like they were like glitching. Like it was way more intense than slow.
Okay.
They were like just like.
Well, maybe maybe it was a dark side power. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the weirdest part is after the flashback, Cal finds himself face to face with T'Pol and fighting T'Pol, but as an adult. And T'Pol is pretty much a jerk, claiming that his blood is on Cal's hand and that Cal has like used the dark side. But then Cal wakes up again and then his lightsaber's all toasted. I have no idea what's going on. Nick, tell me, what do you think of like this whole Order 66 section?
It was incredible, by the way. All I'm thinking right now with Master Jaro, when he's like fighting Cal as an adult, that's basically the dark side. They're in a temple, they're in a Jedi temple or Zepho temple with, Force stuff going on. So it's clearly like one of those things where we saw with Luke and Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, where they're like he sees them fighting each other and then he knocks off Vader's head and then it's actually Luke. Like it's whatever it is, it's some sort of Force power that's doing that. So that's the one thing. But the other thing is I didn't expect us to get a backstory of what happened with Order 66. So I was pleasantly surprised. I loved every bit of this. It was so fun to go through it and I didn't expect it. So when it happened, I was like floored.
Yeah, this was really like a nice surprise, especially because we're on Dathomir. So I didn't really see the Order 66 connection like coming up here. So it was a pleasant surprise. Yeah. I like how you had to play through it. And I always just love like when you talk about Order 66, I do love seeing the clone looking at their communications and then they're just like, all right, it's time to go. Like when they get the order to like act, I do love that. And I liked how even like Gerard T'Pol was just like, okay, something's off. Because it was weird because when we've seen it like in the movies, not every Jedi clued in that was about to happen, but it just shows you the power that Cal's master had.
It was so amazing.
He was able to sense it.
And like emotional and huge. Like it was my favorite cutscene maybe of the entire game so far.
Well, after revisiting his master, this happens.
He's not go as planned. We can't say I didn't warn you.
Leave me alone.
Leave you alone, lost and defenseless in this dangerous place. Never.
Okay, enough of this. Who are you really?
Taron Malicos. Former Jedi, like yourself. We have much in common.
I doubt that.
Oh? We both survived the Purge. My troops betrayed me. I was forced to strike them down, and I escaped to this desolate place. To the darkness here. It almost took me. But I conquered it.
We have much in common. We see the Wanderer once again, who is Taron Malicos, and we learned that he was the Jedi that the Night Brothers were following. So I'm guessing he is also the person that may be giving the Night Sister misinformation about the Jedis. We learned that he believes in the Force, or thinks he believes in the Force, but is using it for power because it's dark times, which means probably not a Jedi anymore if you're using the dark side. Just saying. Probably not. Probably not. And then he asked for Cal to allow him to help Cal control his power. What are your thoughts on him in this reveal?
Don't trust him at all. He's definitely evil. And also, like, if your name is Malicos, come on. That is like a traditionally evil name. I've never heard it before, but it sounds evil.
Yeah.
So I don't trust him one bit. And it just seems like, you know, he would be on the path to the dark side if you followed this guy.
Yeah, definitely path to the dark side. You don't want to follow this guy. And Cal doesn't really want to follow him either. You're getting that vibes. But someone interrupts their back and forth.
Join my family, and I will teach you to control the power. Familiar words, Malicos.
Sister Merrin, you overstep your bounds.
For years, you said the Jedi orchestrated the massacre that killed my sisters. Yet here one stands, and you seek only to bring him into your family.
You were told to deal with it. Clearly you lack the power, little witch.
Power. You are mad, Malicos. Dathomir has unmade you, and my misplaced loyalty has allowed you to lead the Night Brothers astray. Unlike the Jedi, the Night Sisters of Dathomir do not turn on their kind.
Dathomir. I like how she says it. It sounds so much cooler than me saying it. It really does. It really does. Okay, so we see that the Night Sister and Malicos obviously know each other, and that it was Malicos that has been feeding the Night Sister with all this information. Are you surprised by this? And what do you think is really going on between them there? Because I feel like it goes much deeper than that.
So clearly from like, especially this clip, we can tell that Malicos has been, I think, using the Night Sister, feeding her lies, feeding her propaganda to get her to do his bidding. And clearly, we don't know exactly what had happened to the Night Sisters, if it in fact was the Jedi. I'm sure it wasn't, because they are peacekeepers, and Cal is kind of stressing that and saying, I don't think the Jedi would actually do that. So and then you got this Malicos guy. One, he wears a cloak, so you can't trust him if he does that.
Sketchy.
Two, he has a beard, so you can't trust him.
Sketchy. Although Nick also has a beard. Sketchy.
Yes, 100%. And then the way he's talking, he's almost like he's like fumbling his words a little bit. And you can tell he clearly was using the Night Sister for her power, because she does have some sort of great power. She can reanimate. She can do magic spells with this green mist in her hands, I guess. And who wouldn't want to have this power? So I feel bad for her, because I think she is just, from the surface and what I could tell, she's trying to avenge her sisters who she loved. And then, yeah, Malicos is evil.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
And you know what? I think you're spot on, because in classic Star Wars cliche, Malicos is scarred up. Malicos takes off the cloak and like has these, I feel like there may be like inflicted like as a ceremonial thing, because it's like a huge circle and then a line through it. But that usually says in Star Wars canon really shows that probably means they're evil. I'm just putting it out there.
He looks literally like what an evil character would look like. So there's no question. Yeah. I'm just waiting for like his whatever, like, I don't know. He's going to have some sort of like force powers that are evil, like electricity or something like that.
Yeah. But before we actually get to grill Malicos, we are going on the run, because the Night Sisters sends Night Sisters and brothers, or under Night Sisters and Night Brothers, to take care of us. So just don't even bother battling them. I just ran.
Run.
Just
it's no point.
Just run. Run, Cal, run. That's what you have to do. And then you'll find yourself back to the Mantis for a quick escape. And that's it for Chapter 5. After this break, we're going to actually break down everything we learned.
Cal, it's time I told you everything that happened to me when I escaped the Empire. They brought Trilla in the room. And when I saw her eyes, they showed me what I had caused. She was an inquisitor. And something in me gave. And I lost all control. And I tapped into the dark side. And I killed them all. Every last one of them. Except for her. And for years, I couldn't forgive myself. I was a wreck because I had all this rage. And I tried pushing it down, but there was no hiding from myself. And all I wanted to do was die. But then I learned about the holocron. A spark of hope that there could be a future, that we could move on.
Finally, we're getting that moment between Seer and Cal that we've been waiting for, where it feels like there is nothing that's being hidden on either side. And we're seeing like Cal be very vulnerable in front of Seer. And I think that is the connection that we needed for this. We learn that they both have more in common, because Seer also goes into depth about Trilla and how she kind of regrets what happened with Trilla and the Empire, and that she regrets that decision she made to give her up. I mean, the real question is, at this point, is, does anyone have tissues? Because I'm gonna cry. That scene made me cry. That was so touching. Like, because at firstly, the trauma that Cal is like facing, and like really it begs the question of like how the Padawans that survived are living and dealing with that trauma.
So you felt emotional by it. I still didn't fully trust Seer and her story. Is that bad? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because we keep hearing the back and forth between the two. What Trilla says, what Seer says. Seer's been hiding stuff to manipulate us as well. As much as I want to believe that she's in good standing, I don't know if I fully trust. I know it seems that she's vulnerable, and I probably agree that it's close to that. But is she missing out some Is she leaving something out, right? Because it seems like she's always leaving something out of her stories.
Yeah.
So I only want to take it with a grain of salt at this point. And maybe that's just me, but I don't know. There's something about Seer that isn't right, especially that she turned apparently quote unquote to the dark side for something.
What? I think you got it all wrong, Nick. Like,
Okay.
I really do feel like she's being transparent. Like, the concern that she shows for Cal, and like, she's trying to reassure him, like, there's nothing that you could have done because you were just a kid, right? And I think that that is very real in terms of advice, even though it may seem basic. I feel like she is really speaking from the heart, and she's probably the most honest we've seen her in the entire game at this moment. When you think that she's the most honest, at least?
I agree. There's just something about it that still puts me off, whether it is her as her character or just leading Cal on for so long. Someone who should be pure and Jedi-like, I would expect more from her.
All right. Well, obviously high expectations from Nick here. Wanted more from Seer, maybe to put her life on the line. Is that what you're looking for, Nick?
Yes, I'm also expecting that to happen. I actually am.
Oh, really?
I'm expecting her to sacrifice herself for Cal. That's my guess. Or
Okay,
Trilla.
that's actually good.
Or sorry, Trilla will return back to the good side, and then she will sacrifice herself for something. That's my guess. And then and then Trilla becomes a part of our team. That's my guess, at least.
That's really good. I don't know if it's going to happen, but like I could see that story playing out. We got to talk about Malachus, because this is probably the newer character that is the most interesting. This is someone who tapped a Jedi or ex-Jedi who tapped into the dark side. It's interesting though, because Malachus really does believe that he is still using the Force, but just using it in a stronger way, for power, because it's quote unquote dark times. Do you feel like this is something that we've seen both Cal and Seer do, right? They've dabbled, but do you think that Malachus will have a redemption story somewhere, or do you think that this is going to be maybe number one baddie?
I don't think this will be number one baddie.
Okay.
I just feel like it's like a pit stop, right? He's a pit stop bad guy. I don't know too much about him, but I don't trust him one bit, and I don't think he's going to be good at all. I think he is a power-hungry being, whoever he is. Mm-hmm. It's also not good that, he just shows up out of nowhere and is already in conflict. That clearly tells me that something's going to happen.
Like, what's up with that? I do like that they're doing these like different dynamics for Jedis. Like sometimes we just get that linear story. It's good to be a Jedi, right? And then like a little tidbit here of like one chancellor saying like, no, you should also learn how to use the dark side, Palpatine. But I do like how they're actually diving into like these three different perspectives of what the Force means during different times in your life. Cal is very naive, you could argue, because he kind of hid away from all the conflict that the Jedis were facing and turned his back from that, so he doesn't really understand.
I think that's harsh.
No, because
we just saw that scene where he was a child.
Yes, not naive in the sense of like trauma, but naive in the sense of maybe issues that the Jedi have to deal with today. So like Seer, and this is why I'm a little bit more trusting of Seer. Seer was a Jedi and still had to live along with like being in the conflict with the Empire. Cal was not a part of that conflict, so didn't know what are really pushing Jedi to maybe go to the dark side. And I think it's less of like that's a bad thing, but more a test of strength to be on, like to do the right thing for oneself, right? And sometimes you aren't strong enough to do that in one moment. It doesn't necessarily make you a traitor to the Force.
Well, I'm not saying Seer is a traitor, but I do like the dynamic. Again, you have
made on
to.
her a lot.
Okay, all right. So did you for a while, okay?
I
Until you
did,
got emotional with this scene,
I know.
But I do like the dynamic of exploring people's emotions, and it's not always. You can't always just be good. You have to have some sort of conflict in you. And again, I feel like as we move on in the Star Wars universe, we should talk about those themes more than having these priestly figures and then having these super evil villains. I feel like there should be more of a balance, and we find that throughout new characters as we explore new characters since the Skywalker saga is over. Let us try to refresh this franchise a little bit. So I like that aspect.
I agree. How did Dathomir deliver for you in terms of a level?
Not as scary as I
experience.
thought. Mm-hmm. And it didn't seem as open as I was hoping. I think Kashyyyk felt more expansive. Dathomir felt very closed. And it just felt like almost like we weren't even on the planet. We were just like in a temple.
Yeah.
It felt like the most small world out of all, in my opinion.
I think I wanted a little bit more. There were lots of waves of enemies, with the Night Sisters and Night Brothers that got really repetitive. And it just kind of became this thing where it's like, okay, like I'm not even going to try to fight you. I'm just going to dodge you and run through. So I was hoping for a little bit more of Dathomir. Maybe we'll see it again. Probably not.
And the one boss fight, that was actually the highlight.
Yes.
In terms of all those enemies. A lot of the same. And we did get one pretty good boss fight at least.
Yeah, they're delivering at least one good boss fight.
They are.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up this week's episode?
I think this is the point where I'm getting more invested in the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was as much to start the game, especially the point where I didn't even remember the point where I finally started playing the game new because I didn't know where to go before. But now we're getting deep in the story. That Seer clip that we just heard earlier in this segment kind of solidifies it. But now I am invested in these characters and I am invested in this story.
I am as well, especially the Jedi lore, which we will be learning more about as we visit the Jedi Temple next time on AutoSave. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Nick Andrade and myself, Camille Salazar-Hadaway. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Zeiser. Technical production by Greg Fillion. Executive producer Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now. And if it happens to be Apple Podcasts, kindly leave us a rating and a review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.